Decoding cash flow statement for evaluating inherent strength of a business. Now, friends, we have understood the profit and loss statement, we have understood the balance sheet, all of them line by line. Now, we are going to cover the cash flow statement. Now, at this point in time, let me tell you, friends, P&L is important, balance sheet is important, but more than P&L and the balance sheet, what is important is the cash flow statement. And that is how, when we are doing the evaluation, especially when we are using the income approach, what we base our valuation on is the cash flow generated by that entity or by that company. So as we discussed the P&L and understood the P&L, as we understood the balance sheet, it is my endeavor now to also discuss with you and familiarize all of you with regard to the understanding of the cash flow statement कि cash flow statement को हम कैसे interpret करें, कैसे understand करें. So first of all, please remember, as far as the cash flow statement is concerned, doesn't really matter as to what is the nature of the business, nature of the industry, geography, product, doesn't really matter. All the entities all over the world, their cash flows can be segregated into three different types. And what those three different types of the cash flows are, those are operating, investing, and financing. So for us, at the outset, it is important to understand as to what is the difference between these three types of cash flows. So number one is the cash flow from the operating activities. What does it mean? Very simple. It means the cash flow generated by the entity from its operations, and that is the cash flow from the operating activities. Number two, what is cash flow from the investing activities? Again, very simple. What a business does for running the operations, for starting the operations, what a business would do anywhere in the world. A business would do the first thing is investing. Meaning what? Meaning the business will purchase land. On that land, the business will construct a building. In that building, the business will put plant and machinery. Right? So all these assets are built and created. So for building all these assets, what the business has to do? Invest the money. So the second category of the cash flow for any business is the investing. So that means when the company is buying the assets, it's an outflow of cash. And sometimes it can happen, as we discussed little while ago, sometimes it can happen, a business can also sell the assets. So when the business is selling the assets, it is cash inflow. So when the business is buying the assets, it is known as cash inflow on account of investing activities, cash outflow on account of the investing activities. और जब एक business अपने assets को sell कर रहा है, that means it is cash inflow on account of the investing activities. And the third type of the cash flow that we have in our business is financing activities. अब जरा समझ के लीजिए, बहुत सिंपल है. कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम दी ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज़ का मतलब क्या है? कंपनी है, बिजनेस कर रही है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रही है, ट्रेडिंग कर रही है, तो उसकी वजह से कंपनी माल खरीदती है, माल बेचती है, बनाती है, माल बेचती है, तो कंपनी के हाथ में पैसा आता है. सो तो जो पैसा कंपनी के हाथ में आता है, इट इज़ कमिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑपरेशंस और फ्रॉम द ऑपरेशंस. सो दैट इज नॉन एज कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम द ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज़. नाउ कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़, when the company is buying the assets or selling the assets. Now please remember, if a company has to make the investment, for making the investment, company also needs money. So where the money can come from? So the money can come from either by way of equity or it can come from by way of debt, right? Isn't it? So जब एक कंपनी जब एक कंपनी एक लोन ले रही है या प्रमोटर्स एक्विटी डाल रहे हैं, that is cash flow from the financing activities. Cash flow from the financing activities. And please remember, it is very simple. So जब एक कंपनी लोन ले रही है या equity issue कर रही, शेयर issue कर रही है, the company is getting cash So this is known as cash flow from the financing, cash inflow from the financing activities. और जब एक कंपनी लोन चुका रही है या फिर कोई कंपनी बायबैक ऑफ शेयर्स कर रही है, दैट मीन्स इट इज कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम द financing activities. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, and that is there are three types of the cash flow: cash flow from the operating activities, cash flow from the investing activities, and cash flow from the financing activities.